Hi, I'm Meg Finn. I'm a Director and Consumer Strategist here at Iconoculture, and I want to talk to you a little bit today about one of our big ideas for 2010 called Indulgence Offsetting. And the premise of it is that, consumers have been through this recession, they've had to make some lifestyle choice changes, or they've chosen to make those changes, but they still want to be able to reward themselves. They just know that they have to be really responsible about it. So when we kind of look at the backstory of this, what we saw is that, once the recession hit, consumers were really cautious. They felt bad about, indulging themselves too much. They were trying to be really careful in terms of how they spent their money. And so it became hard for them to figure out, how do I still indulge myself? What does that look like? Am I making too many compromises? And one of the things that we looked at through our social media was actually in the adult beverage space. We compared the chatter around value spirits to the chatter around premium or super premium spirits, just to see what kinds of things were out there and what was being said. And we certainly saw plenty of interest in consumers looking for value spirits, thinking about trading down so that they could still keep those drinks as part of their lives. At the same time, when we looked at the sentiment of that buzz or what people were saying, we found that there was still sort of more positive connotations around the premium and super premium. And that to us was really very representative of the sort of tension that was out there, where consumers were trying to understand, like, hey, I know I need to make some changes or cut back or stop indulging so much. At the same time, I still kind of wish maybe I could still indulge. And I do have really great feelings about some of those brands that I got used to drinking over the last several years. And so as we've watched that story progress, over the last 12 or 18 months, the point that we're at now and the behavior that we expect to see more of this year is consumers actually saying, okay, I can indulge, I can do special things for my family, but I'm going to have to be really resourceful in terms of how I do that. So they justify this in a number of ways. For some people, it's that they want to spend more time together with their families. So yes, we are going to take a trip, but we're going to do it in a smart way. We're driving. We're not flying halfway across the country. For other people, it's that, I do want that gym membership. I'm going to do it, but there's a bigger cause for me. I feel like that's something that's good for me in the long term in terms of preventing more health problems. In the food and beverage space, we see all sorts of justifications around health and wellness, or the purity or the quality of the product, is that being the justification. There are all sorts of different ways that consumers go about that rationalization process, and those are just a few. The reason we think that's really important to marketers is that when you look back and think about what some of the messaging was before the recession, there was a lot of marketing that had to do with really encouraging consumers to just go ahead and indulge or reward themselves, the whole kind of you're worth it mentality. That's not going to be enough in the coming months here, in the coming years, because of that behavior shift that I just described. Going forward, you really have to give the consumers a reason to say, it's okay for me to do this, I'm not going to feel guilty about it. You have to give them a green light. And again, that could be a cause component, that could be a health component, that could be a relationship component, any number of things, but there's got to be that reason to believe that's a little bit more practical than what you may have done in years past.